Hey guys, welcome into episode 62 of Coffee and Chel. Today we are going to go over the NHL All-Star event, the first NHL 23 World Championship event that took place this weekend. But first, we've got to hear from my co-hosts, Kesso and Padre. We're going to start with Padre because he got to compete in it. So how was your weekend of being 20 years old and dedicating it all to the big ones again?
It wasn't that bad actually. Like the time worked out good because my kids were asleep and I didn't really have to worry until like the second series. And the first day I got a bye. I don't really understand why the kid didn't show up. He got first seed. He played
He slept
25 games.
through.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, someone came into my chat and said they just got a message from him. He slept through it.
So
Was it what, 3 o'clock
it was
Eastern?
a
What?
3 o'clock Eastern. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Well.
Yeah. He must be a gap year boy. Anyways, after that, I played Yeen Dog, which some of you guys probably know him from like Twitch chats and stuff like that. I think he's in a decent amount of those, and it was a good series. I came back and won 2-1, and then the second day I had to play the guy that won as of right now at least, Blue in X9. He's a French kid, good sixes player apparently. Lots of cut plays like me and Sleazy were talking about earlier. All the sixes kids like to do. Good player. He ended up actually beating Uninstall, which I think everybody was shocked by because everyone I think thought Uninstall won the whole thing, and so it didn't make me feel I guess as terrible considering he beat Benny, and Benny's kind of like supposed to win I guess by just name cachet I guess, but yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't know, I tried my best. It's I didn't really. If I guess if you would have told me 2.5 weeks ago I would have had a chance to play in it, I would have been happy considering like I restarted everything and whatnot, and yeah, so.
Dude, it was really fun. It was the most fun I've had watching like a esports event, even more than any of the streams last year. Last year was pretty chalk on like the big ones. So this year, the four winners. I mean, we'll get into it in a second. But Kessa, did you happen to catch any of it this year?
I only
Or
got to
this
watch
weekend?
this week. Yeah, I only got to watch a little bit of it, like Gren's final, and then like Saturday. My wife's sick, and then the baby's sick, so it's just like it's a rough
Oh,
one here.
GG.
I know, right? Like we've never really. She was sick like once before, but it was like a day. So it's been like a couple days, like the runny nose and stuff. So it's tiring. It's
Oh,
tiring, man,
absolutely,
because there's
bro.
nothing you could do to help them out.
Nope, that's tough,
Yeah.
dude.
So the little bit I got to watch was entertaining.
No, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was really fun. We'll talk about that a little bit more in depth later on in the episode. But it was the game really everything that you would expect from NHL 23. We got the full Monty of it. We got the full gambit of all of the nonsense goalie animations, the less than predictable outcomes in almost every console final, and probably except for Polgs, probably. And probably one of the most impressive out of nowhere runs I have personally ever seen covering the Gaming World Championship, now the NHL 23 World Championship. But yeah, it was really fun. And like I said, we'll get into that in just a little bit. So first was we got our second week of Team of the Year. It was the first time we got a women's Team of the Year. I think a lot of people. I saw a lot of people expecting that like maybe they would be less costly for collectible make, and I just like I laughed at that because there's no possible way you could do that. The precedent that would set was just awful. And to be honest, they actually made some of them pretty interesting. Like they know all of the cards and all of the good abilities to put on them. And there was a few Taylor. I always I don't know if I'm getting her name wrong. No one's correcting me, but I believe it's Taylor Heiss. She also doesn't have a very curious on this one. She doesn't have a headshot in game. So I have no idea unless they release a banner that's just like +1 to her Team of the Year. Like I don't that was crazy because I don't know how they're gonna do that. It's not like she's gonna get a
Yeah.
prime time. She doesn't have a headshot unless they put it in, obviously, which is the kid. Her card was pretty viable. I think that in terms of like right-handed wingers, she's got unstoppable force, got elite edges, all that. And I think she's 5'10", 160.
Yeah, she's like a Mitch Marner build. Which is,
Exactly,
like,
Mitch
perfect,
Marner
yeah.
build. Yeah, exactly, right? So I think that her card's pretty viable. And that Marie-Philippe Poulin, I've been saying it all year round, like every time I play her X Factor, there's like no hitting her. She has like a force field around her. So right now, like in terms of like the best centers, like she's up there for a little while until we get to like the 99 Jason Robertson and Tage Thompson, like that kind of
Yeah.
in terms of competitive play, but they weren't all cards that I think that you just completely ignore. I'd be curious to see the numbers. I know a lot of people were happy to try them out. Was there one, Kessel, that you think that it'd be kind of fun to try?
Yeah, I mean, I would try the Taylor Heiss, like, but here's the thing. Here's why I'm not going to try them, is just because of the cost, right? Like, and I used everything I had on the week one, like, men's team of the year.
Yeah, and like
And it's like, and that's what everybody did. Yeah, like that's what everybody did. I wouldn't have mind seeing like some path to get one of these, especially as they're promoting like the women's players this year.
100%.
Yeah, even if it was like grindy, right? Like they have the objectives in the game. I wonder if they have something to where you can score X amount of goals with like a women's player. Something like that would have been nice to get one of them. Just because like I would want to try one of these, but I can't.
I'm in the same boat. Even on my God squad, like I did at the very end of the week, I just like blew up my collection. Like I'm talking like 80s and 81s and 82s to try and get Roman Yossi. And I'll be honest with you, like women or not, like in game, Roman Yossi is not worth $1 million in my opinion. I don't think his team of the year is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't worth it either. So it's not like all the women cards aren't, and some of the men's aren't either. Like Shesterkin and Yossi aren't worth nearly the cost. So when you make like 4 of them, like Makar and Matthews, McKinnon, and McDavid, like that's $4 million in coins, like in value. So if you have 4 of them or 5, that's about $1 million each one. And I was sitting there looking at my team, just being like, how did I have this much? Like, you know what I mean? Like even just for rewards is crazy. But yeah, the cost just back to back is brutal. But I agree. I think they should have tried to give one out for free with that really long grindy way to get it. Because I agree. I think they should have tried it, especially with the promotion of this year. I think they should definitely have done that. So I'd be expecting a women's team of the season maybe as we get into April, but that's still quite a ways away.
I wonder if they would do like the full roster like they did for the men's.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a huge fan of team of the season and how it works because there's like 40 cards, right? Like it's always like it's clearly their last bit to try and get like whatever funds out of the game or excitement out of the game. I'll tell you this about team of the year. From a personal standpoint, it made me like it gave me hope. So when we did it, when the men's one came out, we had the big stream and all that, and team of the year is the most hyped up event. We had like 4,000 viewers in my stream, which was easily my record, like by like almost 2,000, and just like it frustrates me to no end because the fact that there was that many in there, that means there was that many people that had a little bit of interest in NHL, and if the game was just better. Maybe a quarter of those stick around all year round, not just in my channel, but in the directory. And
now, do you think if they spaced out like MLB does with like the once a month like events instead of like the weekly, there'd be like there wouldn't be 4,000, but there might be 2,000. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's more.
What do you get for like a Friday release? Like in
a normal Friday, like a normal. It's been so long since we've had a normal event, because the Nations of Hockey was 4 weeks, and they leaked the last week on the first day, so like it was. Classic EA there, but about 1,000, and the directory gets to about 25 to 2,000, 2,500. So it's not dead, right? Like it's, what I mean? Like, and I do like how EA does that in the fact that every Friday everyone gets hyped up. They get hyped up about whatever the new event is. So I do enjoy that aspect. But man, I got to say, so my website, I'm in full swing of it. It has been easily the hardest undertaking I've ever done, and I'm not even the one that was like programming it, but adding in 5,000 cards. I never really you don't really pay attention to all the cards that get released until you've got to add them in manually into your own website. And I pray, not just for like selfish reasons that I don't want to put them on my website, but I'm going through and I'm adding 84 overall prime times on January 15th, and I'm just like, this is just here to be here. Like, they need to come up with I'm starting to think that, like, what if just every card was like if a primetime comes out and that card, the base card, just goes up to that. Like, imagine they were just all like, I mean, the logistics of it would have to be pretty ironed out. But imagine just every card was like an Evo card or a Team of the Year card, because I guess that's what it'd be. But they wouldn't get like new synergies or abilities. Like, imagine packed a, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine you packed a base Connor McDavid. Okay, base Connor McDavid. He's got Magician, I think. Or maybe it's Dangle City, and then he's got like Puck on a String. That's like his base card has that. Those don't change, but when a 91 primetime comes out, instead of it being a new 91 overall primetime, it's just like, bam, his card goes to 91.
That'd be great.
Like,
they would lose out on a lot of pack sales. Like, why?
Yeah, like, but I don't know, would they? Because like, you're getting McDavid, like, you know what I mean? Like, all cards have value. You pack, imagine true. You got Jason Robertson's base card or Tage Thompson. Like, I don't know. There needs to be this has been the same format since 2017.
I mean, there's a lot of ideas out there. All it takes is EA like putting in the time to evaluate them, like running it through their economy guy or whatever to figure it out.
They have like a whole economy system.
Whatever it is, this isn't the answer, right?
No, and I it's crazy because I just picture that whiteboard with like 150 things they want to change, and they're just like they always get to like number 9, and then like number 10 is like something sick. Where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, new strategies. It's like, oh, we just missed out. Like, but I don't know. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, I'm yapping about that. But yeah. So, anyways, let's talk about the All-Star Open in a little bit more detail. So I did a watch party for both days. I didn't have the energy to do it. I'm not going to lie. When I went into it, I was like, okay. And then, dude, I forgot how much fun it is to watch two guys just sweat their, like damp, you know? Like, they're just...
it brings out the worst in people, too. That's
yeah. Like, it was great, man. Like, there was a lot of smack talk between... someone was talking about this Prestera guy. Okay, he's new to the sense of, like, being competitive in NHL. I'm sure some people are saying that they like know him from like Hut Champs and stuff like that. I don't care if you've seen his tag and you know that he's like a good player. To do what he did, no one had this guy on their bracket. So this Prestera guy, he qualified for Florida. He's one of the 4 people that will be going. This guy beat Aves, then he beat Geimer, then he beat Mivians, and then he beat Gren.
Did he lose a game?
He lost one to Geimer, but Geimer had to score. It was one of the craziest games. So in the Geimer series against Prestera, Geimer scored 1.2 seconds left, and then 5 seconds into overtime, and everyone thought, okay, it's over. Geimer had a 3-0 lead in Game 3. He lost 6-3. I don't know who this kid is. Like it was wild to watch. Like it wasn't. There was a lot of. I know a lot of the competitors were complaining that he was on Wi-Fi, and connection is always going to be an issue, especially in online games. It's peer-to-peer, though. So, you know, like, he was experiencing it too, you know? But nonetheless, like, in a best of 3, like, I would expect those guys to be able to, I don't want to say win, because that's not fair, because, like, you know, I mean, like, I know the struggle is, but, like, the way that he won was very impressive. Like, I haven't
seen to beat all those people, and then, like, both people are playing on the connection. And I think after the first game, you get adjusted to it. Not only that, like he plays his Hut Champs games like on a server, so I don't think he's used to that like Wi-Fi,
it's not like John
peer to peer. You know,
because that was with John Wayne. Because John Wayne always played peer to peer and like in like biggies and like money games and stuff like that. So he was just like he was Bane. He was like molded by the bad connection. Like, but this kid like. Yeah, I haven't seen. I said this on my stream. I haven't seen anything like this since like Nuke in 2019, where like the Westies might have known who he was. This guy is from Cape Breton, so it's far east. So like only the QCs are gonna know about this guy, and maybe some of the Easter guys. I know you played him.
I played him the night before. Like and actually I have the game recorded. I kind of want to go back and look just to see like because I lost him in overtime. I remember like thinking like, oh, this guy's pretty good, and I didn't even know he was in the tournament because like I'd never heard of him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so, like, I had some people come to my chat like, "Oh, he's not a nobody." I'm like, "Yes, he was." Like, yes, he was. Like, this was. But like I said, this was the fun part of the tournament when there's new people. I love that. Just again, from like my own standpoint, if I'm someone that like I cast the event, right? So I love like drama and storyline makes it very easy when you get the same people, the same time all the time. Like, it's cool to be like, okay, there's like history there and stuff. But we've seen Gren and Regs 3 straight years. We saw the best 2 out of 3 in the finals. So like I'm all about the new blood and whatnot. And we haven't had anyone do this since, like I said, since Nuke. That's 2019. So good for him. Duncan Deli, all right, the loudest person in the community. Okay, he got he got slapped on the wrist last year. Wasn't able to compete. And he went from band to land. So you know he beat Regs 2-0. And I watched the games. And it was the first time in a long time that Regs looked like human. I think that the time on attack was like 21 minutes to 5 for Regs. But Deli played great defense. Like I said, like it just didn't look like Regs could get like. It seemed like he was fighting the game. I don't know if Padre, did you watch any of that series?
Yeah, if you would have told me that Deli beat Regs like before, if I could like see the future, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's the biggest surprise of the weekend, and it was not even close with Pastera.
Yeah, that's what's wild. Yeah, like that was crazy.
To talk about that kid too, I mean, there's rumors going around, according to what they say, he might not even be able to go to the land if he doesn't get a passport. which for future reference, any of the kiddies out there, or even just adults that don't have update your passport, like get your stuff figured out before you play in these tournaments. What's the point of grinding 25 games and oversleeping? What's the point of grinding 25 games and not having a passport? Like, you're wasting your time. I mean, unless you just love playing practice games, I guess. But I mean, there's a good chance that actually Gren ends up going, or uninstalling the Bluen's case. Apparently, he's going to Cuba the next day or something, or 2 days after. So I don't know what you're going to Cuba for, but yeah, I mean, it's a little weird. So we'll see what happens with those. But with Delhi, obviously, Delhi's a loudmouth, and he's he's a good kid, I think, at heart, kind of like Nip and Biscuits. I just think he just doesn't shut his mouth sometimes, and I mean, I'm a loudmouth too in some instances. I just feel like I listen, or I think about what I say before I actually talk, like unlike him. And I know he gets on Kessler's nerves all the time.
Oh, I can't stand him.
He gets on my nerves too. Yeah.
Whenever he won, so I was like, "Hey, I can't stand you, but congrats."
Yeah, I love listening because I just wait for it. Like Kesso's like the dad that's like spanking his kid on the butt back in the day. Like, it's so funny. But yeah, he played awesome. I mean, he clamped Regs down. I mean, like, tons of TOA, but Regs couldn't get to the middle, which is kind of where you score in this game, besides behind the net. And he clamped that down, and Delhi really pushed it wide. Like, blew down the boards with Gartner, McKinnon, McDavid, Madonna. And, I mean, I don't care how good you are at defense in this game. I mean, those guys are so fast, and with how slow some of the defensemen are now, like, besides Makar, it's pretty hard to keep up like that. And I think that was, like, the big difference, is he just really abused Regs down the wings. If, like, Regs were to change one thing, and, like, what do I know? I'm not better than Regs, but I'm just saying, like, that's the one thing I noticed. And, yeah, I mean, he won. I mean, no one can really say anything now. I mean, he beat the best player in the world, and he beat him twice. And, I mean, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It was pretty wild to watch, because I going into it, I was like, this is going to be a massacre.
Oh, yeah.
But no, dude, he shut me up. That was really impressive. And then, blew in and uninstall. Even when you saw the bracket, I wanted you to win to represent Coffee and Chel, and you did your damnedest. But like, clearly when you saw like uninstall, like, he first of all, the amount that he plays, like, when you have these guys that play the game a ton and they're streaming all the time,
and years younger too.
Yeah, like they're expected to win, right? Yeah. Like, you're expected. You saw the PS4 bracket; it was by far the weakest in terms of people that could win. Like, if you were to go to this tournament and the Final Four, you pick the winners from all 3 consoles and the PS4 winner. If it was an uninstall, like, you wouldn't bet on that person. Even yourself, I think you know what I mean? Like, to beat, like, if it was Gren and Polgs and Regs, right? Like, you might be able to take a series, because I think once you get to that point, like, you could easily, take a series, but, like, you wouldn't bet on it, right? And uninstall, when it was Bluin and not you, I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be over quick. And nah, man, like,
he's really good. He's really good.
I said this the whole year, that the winner of this year's game, because it plays so much like Sixes, is going to be a really good Sixes player. And that Bluin guy, I remember watching him play. I think he was a PlayStation Sixes guy, which they don't get a lot of love, because PlayStation in North America, or Xbox in North America, has really been the main console, especially on League Gaming. They get the far more, like, love and attention than the PlayStation guys. But yeah, like, I remember watching him play in some of the bigger tournaments in Sixes, and yeah, dude, he dominated. It was great.
He's on Ducks Gaming right now, I think, from what I saw.
Yeah,
I think he's on the Ducks Gaming team. Main thing, I feel like I played CAD basically when CAD was young. When I played CAD back when he was young.
Oh, that's a good comp.
Canadian, sorry, whatever. Maybe some of it's because he's French, but it's just like really good button skills. Really quick movements and stuff like that. Just more noticeable than, some of the guys that I've played. It was more just quick plays and quick, LTs and that. It just really reminded me of Cat, honestly. And when he went and played Benny, I hadn't seen Benny play a lot. It's just like you hear, install, because
you just assume, right? Like, you just pencil it in.
Yeah, you kind of assume, and it was not. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was like pretty one-sided with that series. I know Benny was kind of saying he felt like he should have won, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looked from the stuff I saw every time Bluin was just scoring on his chances, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he's just capitalizing on his chances. Like, but yeah. So the final, and then we had Polgs, who beat Desi, and he had a pretty good run as well. Polgs is probably the only one out of the 4 that, like, was
You expected.
you expected him to win, and I would, if we're ranking the four when they go to lands, he's the only one that's been to a land, multiple of them, and that really matters.
Yeah.
Just because like it's hard to play for even $1,000, or when you have a couple thousand people watching you. Like it doesn't matter what it is, what you're playing. Like you're human, right? And especially when you're younger. These guys are all young, and. So, nerves is a huge thing. And Polgs at GWC last year, he got absolutely crushed by Gren off of the stream. But like I remember, like last year, he dominated every tournament. It reminded me of like Regs in 2019 when he won everything. And Polgs easily was the number one player last year up until the GWC, and he got there. He had his whole family there at the draft and whatnot, and that's tough to play against, especially against Gren, who's literally just lived in live biggies since 2018.
Right.
And Polgs now, at least he has that, like, he knows what it feels like. BC, I could see any of them. I cannot wait to see this Prestera guy. I hope he makes it. I hope he figures out his passport. Just because...
Oh, sorry, my bad. I was just saying, the people out there, and you know who you are. If you listen to this, like, if the guy is who he says he is, okay?
Let's address it. Can I preface this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so for anyone that isn't listening, there's a rumor going around that this Prestera guy, who, if you were watching my stream, we all ended up rooting for him because no one knew who he was, and he was in my chat, and then Geimer started giving him some smack talk when he won, and then he started giving it back, and I love all that stuff. But anyways, there's rumors going around that this person, that Nippin' Biscuits, who's another community member, and a very good player, was playing on this kid's account, which is just completely false, and actually a mistake that someone in the community accidentally outed and said that, he was playing on his account, started this big rumor, and everyone, which is impossible because Nippin' Biscuits was literally at a Rangers game. So, it wasn't him. It's some new kid, and
it's just like, there was crap in my game. Like I told you guys about the strategy button I hit, and I mean, it's not like I would have beat the kid per se, but like I didn't go on Twitch and like write novels all day and cry about it, and then like try to get him kicked out or like whatever the case is. It's like, dude, like I love you guys. You guys are great players and all. You know what I'm talking about. This game is so random this year. Like the best player in the world ever just lost in regs to Delhi. Like no one would have thought
in Gren's game against Prestera. That was tied.
Amazing.
And he went to go play the puck, and he literally threw it in his own net because his goalie played the puck. It didn't go far, got stuck in the crease, and his own goalie kicked it in his own net, and that was the game-winning goal. Like,
it happened to me the first day. It's just
like this year, you're gonna see a lot of that. As my camera froze 1 second, as you're just gonna see a ton of that now, like this year, and it sucks.
No, and I wish people would understand that, like the same people that were like, we already talked about this, like they just need to realize like with how random this game is, and you're not going to have the same thing happen every time, and it is what it is. Like, so just like take the loss.
The biggest thing is
what's
too,
crazy is this is the first event.
I know,
like 100% though. Like you were saying, that's not Nippin, because like I've played Nippin 50 times, right?
Yeah.
You've watched Nippin play.
He
played nothing like him. If Nippin can
there was
change
not
his
one
style,
saucer pass,
then he'd be the best player in the world to mimic another style and win like that, right? Like he'd be the best.
Like it was wild. But
it's just like take your loss, move on. There's another event. You guys will all be in the tournament. It'll be okay. The sun came up today. I mean, I get it. You want to win, but it's in the grand scheme of things. This money's minuscule. None of you care about the All-Star game because none of you watch hockey. So stop acting like this is the end of the world. I just like just like harassing this guy, because I watched the guy today and the guy's just like, dude, like, are you guys still going on about this? It's like, yeah, man, like they're still going, like, just let it go. Holy crap. Like, I mean, I get pissed about losses too. Everyone does. Kessler does. Sleazy does. Everyone does. It is what it is.
Yeah, man. Like I
lost my wedding ring across the room when I lost. I was like just threw it. Like, I mean, and that's me. I'm 30. I need to stop.
The Roomba didn't pick it up.
Yeah, I know. But I never do that. But I was so tilted about this stupid strat. I was just like so tilted the whole game, and I was just like, what?
Dude, that's what's great. So like, for people that have never watched it, like the people that don't get it, like watching NHL, like why would you want to watch this game played? Dude, watch it. Like I said, watching two guys just do everything they possibly can, and you have no stress was so much fun to watch. So shout out to Nick514 and Worthy. Okay, these two guys, again, for anyone that doesn't know about, in the in-depths of the community and you just listen, you're a casual player, everything like that, these two guys probably have the most game played between someone who's 20 years old and someone who's 30 years old. Nick's 30, Worthy's younger. All right,
31.
they have
31.
Yeah,
He's
31.
elite at 31.
He's elite at 31, yeah. See, they have easily the most time played in this game, all right? Well, maybe not easily, but like they have exceptional amounts of gameplay. These two guys, I have never seen two dudes, like, the only way I can describe it is they didn't want to win. They just tried not to lose. Like there was exchanges where Nick was up like 4-1 in the third, ended up losing 6-4, and then the very next game the exact same situation flipped. It was Worthy up 4-1 in the third. Nick scored 5 straight to make it 6-4. 20 seconds later, he gave up 2 goals and it was 6-6, and he had to go to overtime in game 3. It was the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
He got bailed in that overtime.
It was wild.
His goalie was, I don't know who his goalie was, but like he was making some crazy saves.
Wild. And like I said, because this game, the goaltender specifically, like it just leads to an absolute disaster. And it's going to happen. I can't wait for, like, on the big stage, I'm going to have to find a way to cast these things and like act like I can't wait, because it's going to test my ability as like a broadcaster to call like the gaming or the NHL 23 World Championship with some behind the net rap and like try to make it, sound like it's like interesting and whatnot. So I don't know. It was really fun. It's the first event. It was one of the better things about this year's World Championship is that there's more LAN events. So we get to do it all right again this week. The open qualifiers for the Stadium Series opens up this Wednesday, I believe. And then next weekend will be the Stadium Series qualifiers that'll run the exact same way. So one person per console. So it'll be 4 people that will get to go to the Stadium Series. You guys, so Padre, you're going to compete again. Give me something that someone you're trying to add to your team that you need before you go to the next Stadium Series.
I'll be honest, I have no clue. I
every morning, I don't know who I should get, and then we
have
like a
talk. Like a weird spot where I have to like wait for my X Factor again, and I would love to get McDavid or get Hedman, and I just don't like want to buy either one of them. But I have no clue. I think I'm gonna move Matthews back to center just because I was like watching a lot of some of the things I just picked up in a lot of the games. Like I was watching Delhi play and just kind of like his team choices because me and him talk a lot, and just like Mike Gartner. Like Mike Gardner on the wing and stuff like that.
100K. Gardner's under 100K.
I know, 100K. Like using just a Dougie Hamilton. Nothing, no abilities on Dougie Hamilton, but he was. I mean, I was just watching certain players what stuck out the most to me, and constantly Hedman stuck out to me on teams. Everyone had Hedman, like the Hamilton did. Even Dean Kukin, just stuff like just guys like that, the bigger bodies, and then obviously all the team of the year stuck out. I mean, I don't know, just something like that probably, and then just. I gotta, play better. Obviously, I guess if I can get past the, top 16 thing.
Yeah, I think he was. My camera frozen.
Yeah, your camera's frozen again.
What is going on here? Sorry,
nice look though.
Sorry, YouTube audience. I apologize. I can't wait for my new computer. My God, I think it comes next week. Ugh. Kess, are you gonna try this week again?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna qualify this time because dude. I just got on tilt last time. Like I would have qualified if I like kept my head right. I just got frustrated.
That whole series or that whole.
Yeah, you did. You watched a lot of it, man. And I just I started 15-1 and then just like lost a couple, and then I was like, oh, F this game. I think I might add like a Cale Makar, like a 90 overall. I think there's one.
Yep.
And the only reason I say that is like the straight lining. Like I have a lot of the bigger defensemen.
Oh, you want to use him to straight line?
No, to defend it. Because like, dude, I get burnt. Yeah. Dude, I get burnt with like Hedman or like Seabrook or something, and I feel like it might not be a bad idea to have like one fast defenseman. I don't know though.
Did you notice? Watching Makar and playing Makar, I have Makar. I'm not happy about it, but I do. He just crushes everybody. He was crushing me like crazy. I don't understand. It wasn't like straight on. It was shoving and just. It was like the weirdest thing. I was like, "What is going on?" Like he was so annoying.
His team of the year. There's a sequence where if you run, I think it's Spark, Gladiator, and you can put Protector on him, and it gets like 10 body checking. And Shutdown is essentially Truculence, but it just doesn't activate all the time. Like once you're in your own zone, it doesn't activate all the time. It's very wonky, but it considers everything the rush. Mm-hmm. So if you have, it's the only ability on Makar that I think you 100% have to have because he doesn't have anything else like defensively other than that. Doesn't have Truculence. But yeah, like I've definitely noticed a lot of Makar. Like he definitely hits quite harder than you would expect because he's a lot smaller, obviously. You know who's nuts looking? That Adam Fox that came out has gold truculence, and I think it's like stick 'em up or something. Like it's a
What card
wild
was this?
So they did something called Wacky Wednesday where they like flipped builds and they gave like Ryan Reeves a dangler build, which low-key might be gross, but Fox got one where it's defensive and it killed his X Factor. Because like his X Factor, there's no point to his X Factor because this 90 overall is better than his 97. You know, like it's wild. So it has gold truculence and he's like at 92 speed.
Yeah, he has 97 body checking. What the heck?
Yeah, man. It was they just did some random builds on last week, which I thought was kind of cool.
And he's fast.
It's kind of what we talked about in the summertime with the builds. They're like Hawks.
There's a lot of the
trying to do
stuff that we've mentioned on this podcast that has crept into the game.
Yeah,
Either we're ahead of the game, or they're listening, or we just have the same idea. I don't know what it is, and they've all been great ideas.
Yeah. Like I said, like them starting to do like actual outside the box and not just +1 to everything. Thank God, because that's a brutal like combo in my opinion. So, but yeah, so Stadium Series is up next. I can't compete in it, so you're all very lucky. But
thank God.
Another thing I noticed from playing the games, and I'm a big lineup obviously guy, whatever. Goalies, I can like 110% now feel like they don't matter. Just get the biggest for PG 13 or and under, but just get the biggest lard ass pretty much, and just stick them in your net because I just don't understand. They turn sideways, they turn upside down, they're standing up.
You go in the corner and
mess
directly out into the crease, and you'll get them to go down pad stack, and it just looks
Terry Sawchuk out there.
Yeah, like it makes no sense, and it's gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be really bad because there's gonna be a lot of money decided because of the state of goaltenders this year, and they didn't want to address it. And I think that just being involved with the developers and the community, I've seen years where I remember Ben Ross the one year got fed up and was like, "All right, you guys want the beta?" And he put the beta back out, and no one took into account that hut progression ruins a lot of the game. And he put the beta build back out, and everyone hated it. And then there was 2021 or NHL 20 where they didn't make any patches at all. People hated that. There was the goal line shot that was in the game the whole year, stuff like that. And so I can kind of understand the not wanting to commit resources to this game because they have so little to they want to put all the focus on next game. But this is
not when it's a broken game though.
We're beta testing. Yeah. I said this at the launch of the game. We are legitimately beta testing the next game. And I know I'm if there's any developers that are listening to this podcast, I know that there's going to be a meeting for NHL 24 at some point, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a young Malcheski's stream, and I'm literally just going to say explain. And if you don't know who Malcheski is, he is probably he's not a big fan favorite, but he's very good at the game. But however, this year he has taken the behind the net to the 15th degree, and it's unfortunate because it's in the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and you're starting to see it a lot. I saw Mivians when he played Prestera. It was like, this is not how Mivians used to play. Like,
no, not at all. He always just shot the puck.
Yeah, and he used to be so aggressive, like just always. And he got behind that net and didn't move. And people are starting to pick up on it. And if you're playing this game for thousands of dollars, okay? Like, just like Eki, like everyone else, I would expect them to use everything at their. I don't think it's accurate. I hate it. I hate the look of it. It's awful. Just like last year, I hated the wiggle stick, and I'm glad that was removed because it just looks dumb. But it's gonna be bad, man. Like I can't wait for them to explain it to me because I don't know. They just they're gonna get exposed in the NHL 23 World Championship at some point. It's gonna be bad. And,
yeah, there was one more takeaway I had from this, which I was actually glad to see. Obviously, with like the favorites losing, it's exciting just for like if you're watching it as like a casual person. But dude, defense like winning. So like I think you look at like Delhi, and then you look at this whatever the hell, what's his name, Prestera or something. That's it. Yeah. Like they weren't favorites. They played smart. They played skill zone, right? They just crowded the front of the net, but they knew how to score on rebounds and like certain things. Like if you master defense and master the counterattack, like I don't care how good the player you're playing against is, like you're always going to have a chance. And that was my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Like again, like there's a lot of things about this game, like controlling your defenseman, puts you at a big disadvantage.
Yeah.
Which is, it sucks. But when you watch them play and you're controlling with your forward, because the reason why it's such a disadvantage is because when you are controlling, it's like they don't have any defensive awareness. Like the stat is like 0. So you get no intercepts. It's like NHL 21, where there's just no intercepts at all. And that puts you at a huge disadvantage. Like, how many times for everyone listening, if you're in the YouTube comments, let us know. But like, how many times have you been defending a rush and you feel confident that you're in the right position for a 2-on-1 to take away the pass, and it just gets forced right through you? Or if you're like literally on the goal line covering a guy manually, and it just they don't make a move. They don't make a move with their skate. They don't make a move with their stick. And leaving your defenseman alone is clearly the way to go. But you've got to make sure they're in the right position. So someone I see that does it really well. What Polgs does. Polgs will literally switch to his defenseman and move him back after they like stray away from where they should be, and then he'll switch back to his forward and then attack the person. And I saw a lot of that with Delhi too. Like Delhi knew that Regs wanted to get to the front of the net, and he just made sure that he couldn't get anything cleanly there. And then like scoring off a rebound. Like Junior Pens is someone who's really good at that too. Always scores on his chances, and he took Regs to 3 games, right? So no, I agree with that, man. Like, it's crazy because this year you just got to survive too. Like there's just
dude, that's all it is. It doesn't matter how much time on attack the other guy has. Doesn't matter how many pucks are around the net. Yeah, dude, that's it. Blocking shots.
It's wild, man. It's gonna be fun to watch though. But all right, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about the next event. So the last 6 weeks, we've had 4 weeks of the Nations of Hockey, and I'm assuming you guys didn't like that. Maybe I'm different because I'm Canadian. The whole month of December is very World Juniors, especially for Canadians. And so I'm assuming that's why they do it, because like for the last 4 years we had like Winter National and like it was always a very international style like thing. But man, 4 weeks is a long time, and I'm excited because Team of the Year is a very niche event. It's not like the other one, so finally we get a new one. All right, here's what I'm thinking. Every year around this time in January, they get like a rookie event. And the last year I think was under 22. The year before that was like the NHL 2030 event. It was like all the young players. There was like that Jack Hughes and Justice and Noonan. That was the GWC goalie.
Oh, that was a crazy one.
Oh, dude, everyone had him. That was probably is that Justice and Noonan? This is off topic. The 2030 Justice and Noonan. Is that the most expensive old event card ever? Because that held its price all the way through the GWC. I remember that was like $600K. Like it had to be.
And I don't think then you could go back and make the old MSPs.
No, you could not make them. No.
Yeah. So that's why too.
Yeah. Okay. That was nuts. But so what I'm thinking is this year, I've been saying this from launch too, is that without headshots of Ohm Power and Kent Johnson and Beniers and guys like that, they have to do master set players because that's a way to get around it, right? So I'm thinking this next one, it's too early for the All-Star event, I think. Like, I don't think they would do it 2 weeks out, especially because they do, while the event's on, they do, the updating when they score in the real All-Star game, which I hope they do again. But I think it's going to be a Young Guns, event. Who would you want to see? Like, Padre, you probably know more, have a better one, but, who would you want to see out of that event, master sets? Give me a couple.
Power.
Power's card is gonna be, bro. Can you imagine if they gave him truculence or shutdown?
Oh yeah,
dude, that's
he's a monster. And Beniers obviously with Seattle.
What do you think they give Beniers?
No, them shock and awe or something.
Tape to tape.
Tape to tape.
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to see. This is an off the board one, but I love that Parsonen kid in Nashville. He's 6'5", the centerman. He's been tucking a few. He's like a late blue, just a weird typical Nashville Predators player, like another Victor Arvidsson, Patrick Hornqvist, late round pick, making an impact as a rookie. Just somebody different like that. But I know they wouldn't probably make him an MSP. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of good young guys. I mean, Jake Neighbors. If I'm doing somebody with St. Louis, I don't know. He's somebody that's a young guy.
There is no Shark MSP, correct?
Not that for young guys, no.
No, just in general.
Oh.
There's Owen Nolan, but that's team builder.
Oh, I was thinking I thought you meant for a young guy. Yeah, no, not.
There isn't one yet, dude. William Eklund would be a sick MSP.
Dylan Gunther for Arizona, maybe.
That'd be a good one.
I
don't think they would do Connor Bedard.
No,
they did him in that 22. I
Mason McTavish, Anaheim.
Oh yeah, especially because they probably have this event done like they have it done like a month in advance.
So like you're doing like Calder like projections, it's kind of just like those guys that you're thinking of. That's usually who it is.
Who's
There's
the
usually
who's
not
the Detroit like I'm not Soderblom,
for the
the
rookies.
fenceman who I don't think he's playing yet.
Oh, I was gonna say that Bergson or whatever kid that's on the
Oh yeah,
forward. He's been like their like rookie.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some other rookies.
That'd
Like
be a pretty good one though.
yeah, Dallas has that Wyatt Johnson kid or whatever.
Wyatt Johnson would be a good one too. Yeah, man.
Um,
I just like this event's always like my favorite, like the rookie
yeah,
one, because like those ones are like those exciting players, and they never have like good cards, right? Like
yeah.
they just don't. So with like you know what's funny because next year the content team's gonna have to do something or the gameplay team because X factors are figured out. Like this year, or last year was the first year of X Factor abilities, right? And there was a lot of figuring out. And then the game changes year over year. So now different X Factors are viable. Like 1T last year on defenseman was good. 1T this year, pointless. I'm trying to think of some other examples.
They also have to overall this year. I don't think did any new players besides the women get a new X Factor
Dude, it was so weird
because they only cut it, but they kept like Shea Theodore, right?
yeah, and
So,
Moritz
good
Seider is
players.
an X Factor in the launch, but he didn't get an X Factor in the. Yeah, I didn't really get that. I think they wanted to keep it down so that you had there wasn't so many, which I'm okay with. But dude, like some of like the Shea
Like Tage
Theodore
Thompson
one,
has to be one next year, right? Like he
dude,
just has to.
I cannot wait to see what they do with Tage Thompson because
And
they're gonna have to
they
hammer
have
his
to
stats.
nerf him every year, right?
Yeah.
Like they just have to.
I love it. I love it because he is someone that is like so electric and he gets like his goals like I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna give him dangler, like puck on a string and but it won't
See,
matter.
I hate that though because it's like they're almost doing the thing with him like Madden. Like Madden never did that though, but like it's like the Mike Vick thing,
Chara,
right?
they're
Like
like
he
hurting
was,
him for being
yeah, he's just big. Like so what? Like he's still quick. Like he's amazing. Like dude, just rate him how he should be.
I
Right? If it breaks the game, he's breaking the NHL.
that's an NHL video game problem. Not
Yeah.
the,
Yeah, I pulled up like the Calder odds just to kind of see some guys that I might have messed my bet on. This is I know it's like
no,
a few
good.
seconds.
I just brought it up while you were.
Beniers, Kachekov. I don't think they do the maybe they would do the Hurricanes Kachekov
I
because
could see it after the playoffs last year.
he
like,
played in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Logan
they
Thompson.
do a goal. They'll do a goal. Oh, it'd be Logan
Right.
Thompson for sure. Never mind.
Stuart Skinner, Cole Perfetti, Mason McTavish, Wyatt Johnson, Kent Johnson, JJ Paterka, Jack Quinn, Jake Sanderson, Shane Pinto, Owen Power, Kalen Addison, Zetterlund, Cates, Gooley, Gunther, and then Kratzov. I guarantee Kratzov is in there because those Rags fans love Kratzov.
They love him.
Like love him.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, you're right on that. Like,
But, like a lot of those names, like if you remember the year, like when like Ottinger, like what it was last year, right? Yeah, last year. Yeah, like Ottinger.
23.
Yeah.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, like so Ottinger and all those guys, like they did a good job.
That was like one of my favorite events of all time. I think.
Yeah, they did a good job picking the guys. So I feel like they'll hit a home run again this time. They'll pick like the sexy names. You know, maybe like they're obviously probably not going to have like some of those guys that come out of nowhere, but because they, like you said, they probably did this event a while ago.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah, like I said, they probably did a little while ago. So I could see it being like the goalie being Logan Thompson. I can see that because that would have been like known way.
He
back
did get
then.
that stars of the or whatever what was that
Star
thing
of the
called?
month. He got a star of the month. Yeah. But I don't think that would really play into it, even if he got a master set.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know if that would play. But that Owen Power card, I cannot wait because he hasn't been that great offensively. So they're gonna have to give him like shutdown or watch him give him send it. Like like you know he's 6'6", so they're just like let's just put send it on him. This card's too powerful. It's wild though because like that's such an issue with the video game that these guys are hindered because they're just genetically giant. You know, like Zdeno Chara cards were like hated by the player base because he effectively like ruins the game. Like if you don't have Zdeno Chara, that's such a disadvantage, which just sucks. Like because like that isn't like a why should the guy be knocked because he's what he's doing? Like because the team of the season, like Tage Thompson and Robertson are getting team of the seasons.
Yeah, they're going to be some of the best cards, yeah.
And they're going to be the best cards. Like, they're going to be wild. Because, like, I've said this, too, about Jason Robertson cards that keep coming out. They're terrified to give him skating synergies. They're terrified.
It reminds me of Rantanen.
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, like a lot like Rantanen. Yeah, like no, you're
A new
exactly
random
right.
that came out looks like interesting, but I'm also kind of afraid to try it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh yeah, there was like a 91 that came out, right?
Yeah, he has like distributor and
It's
buzzing,
dude, it's so
and
funny like having to add all these cards now manually because I never really look at like I'll look at them, take a glance at them, but having to put their attributes and everything in, I'm like, oh my god, like some of these are cracked. Like that Ulf Samuelson. I bet you see a lot of GWC guys with Ulf Samuelson next week because that thing has gold truculence too. It's like dude, last year's Adam Foote, Ulf Samuelson
yeah.
pairing the team builder,
Oh
the
yeah, I
Bash
remember that
brothers,
one.
bro. That was so good, dude. That was so good. But all right, let's do some questions. All right, so
Yeah, dude, I pulled some prior, so from the
let's
last
go.
episode that we posted with Regs
We'll do the
and
same thing.
Eki.
We'll do the same thing this week too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
leave your
let's keep
questions
doing
in the
this.
YouTube video.
So I'm gonna read off the first one here. So the Gravy Train, I have 4 of them.
All
The
right.
Gravy Train 8 said, "What do you guys think about making captaincy cards have value? Captain gets all abilities activated, and assistance abilities are halved."
Oh my
Um,
god.
I know it would make them valuable. I don't know, like just because it's not a bad idea. Like it's actually not a bad idea at all. It's better than I think the old captain like +1 or +2 to every attribute, and it makes the cards like worthwhile. But also that's just like basically increasing the AP by like
The
15,
the
right?
community would ruin it. Like it's a cool idea in practice, but the community would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, Connor Mc or Austin Matthews, someone would be like, that's the guy who has to have it." I think
For
it's kind of
sure,
cool.
right? Like because like McKinnon, like if there's a
Yeah, it would be
captain
yeah,
card,
it'd be
like I
McKinnon
would just
probably.
put it on him, right?
Hmm.
So like I don't like it for like the balancing of the game.
You wouldn't use the captain card and how they're supposed to be intended to be used. Like they were
Right.
put in the game so like your team could have a captain in game. He has like the C and everything like that. That's why it's intended to be there. So like it wouldn't be used for that. So I don't know, Padre. What do you think?
Yeah, I would be definitely like abused in some way. I feel like I have a better idea. How about you do something with our Hut Champs points we have just sitting in our inboxes?
Dude, I'd love that. Let's put it in the
God,
storage.
like I mean, you have like 20,000 of those points just collecting
Yeah,
dust over there, and
I
there's
hear
Hey,
literally
you're lucky. Some people are playing rivals every week.
They are.
two things. And Hawk, I know you listen to this sometimes. Please let us. Just let everyone play Hut Champs. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? Like let everyone come and play. All
What
it
is
does
the
is
downfall? Let's have a discussion here. What is the downfall of that? Like think
nothing.
logically, like business wise.
Nothing.
I think it drives engagement in rivals for the people that aren't top
To
200 players that
get into
qualify.
it.
I think it's an
Yeah,
engagement
I think that's
driver,
got to be it. Yeah,
and
it's
that's
gotta be it.
another
Yeah,
goddamn thing.
it's a
That
big issue.
it's a empty metric that
Yep.
they could show so and
It's
so.
more to do. It's more to do with very little. Yes,
I feel like
think
that's
it's
a
gotta be.
little thing, but I feel like regardless, people play rivals anyways because there's nothing else to do.
No, but like imagine you. So again, you have to take yourself out of what your experience of the game is. So imagine someone they play a bunch of rivals games in a week, and normally they would just stop, but they're like 400 points away from Hut Champs. They're in Division 5 or 4, and like they need like 4 more wins. That drives them to try and get 4 more wins to unlock it, and then they play their rivals and they play their champs. I would assume that's gotta be the reason. It's such a shit reason.
Would
But
you
It's
like?
awful.
Would you like for Hut Champs? Would you like? Sorry to go off the question thing real fast.
No.
No,
Would you
I
like
like
for Hut
this
Champs?
topic.
Would you like a win based, which I've always been in favor of, meaning get rid of the stupid round points? Like this week, I would have been top 20 if I would have had win based rewards, or technically. Or would you like an MLB The Show type of thing where there's a World Series and CS and all that stuff where it's a 30-day grind or a 25, whatever the MLB is, where people are constantly playing and you're trying to build on that rating. You know what I mean? There's a rating system.
I don't think there's an issue with Hut Champs. I don't.
No,
I think
MLB is missing Hut
MLB
Champs.
doesn't
Yeah,
have that.
They
Yeah.
need Hut Champs. Yeah, it's the
I
only
think
thing
the only
that we
thing
beat
like
them
Hut
in.
Champs is missing is like team restrictions, but that's just me personally.
Yeah.
I think what you're looking for is just to make rivals better, right? Like that's
If
really
you
all.
do,
it
How
is.
about
if you do
instead of
that
rivals?
method, if you do that method, the problem is that people get to World Series and stop playing. And in MLB, there's stuff to do when that is complete. In NHL, if you finished your rivals games for the month, and there's kids that would have it done in 4 days, you're done. Like, what do you do? Like, like you just don't play Monday to Friday, wait for champs. Like that's
Yeah.
why they can't do it, right? Because there's no other mode, which is
Yeah, it sucks how much this is just designed just to get people to click on.
that's a lot of games
things.
though, man. Like a lot of game in the industry. that is like the issue. Like they're designed to do this. Even MLB has its flaws in that aspect, but like it's tough because that is clearly why. And I would love HUT Champs open to everyone for a couple of reasons. One, we'd actually be able to get games, and you'd play different players. And like, I don't think this game has any business trying to break apart the people trying to search any more than it already is.
Right.
You know, and if it's so like I agree. I think it should be open to everyone. And you know the rewards, how it should work. Like, dude, I want a leaderboard somewhere, and like we're never gonna get it in Rivals. So I mean, like it sucks because if you did win, you can't do win-based champs without a tiebreaker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and you can't view what the tiebreaker is, or it'll crash your system.
Oh yes, also that. You can't go look at the round points; it'll crash.
I didn't even bother checking my ranking this weekend because I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, so like, I think in FIFA it's just you get to 26 wins and it doesn't matter where you are ranked; you just get X reward.
Yeah,
like, and I think that's cool. Like,
maybe I like the win base more when there was a card. When you got like a 90, 89, 88, that would make more sense.
Well, and they really hampered the HUT win rewards. Like, and I know they give you collectibles, but like people use those just for power ups, right? So now instead of getting like 3 ultimate packs, you get like 1 and then like a jumbo elite.
I like the cards. That was one of the cool things they did. It was a flex thing. Like you had people like Regs that had an entire lineup of HUT Champs cards. I know the one year I had like 8 or 9. I used a lot of them on my GWC team because I'm a free to play guy. So it's like I was like sick. Like this week's Braden Shen, and I remember I got Braden Shen, and I skated that week, and I was like, "Hey Shenner, look, I got your card." He's like, "God, you're a loser." And like it was just like something like it's just funny. I don't know. Like
I know they went away from that to try and curb the rich getting richer.
Yeah,
that was the issue because like that's the one thing, right? Because that card, if you were, I remember I think it was NHL 18 or maybe 19 was
not the sellable one.
No, I know, but you could sell it, and I remember that because like that card would go for $2 million because there's only 5 of them in the world at the time, right?
I didn't trade it personally. I know some people didn't like it that were, I know Pens was really big on he wanted to sell all of his and Gren, and I get that stuff. And I mean, like, of course I would too, but I just meant I thought it was kind of cool.
There's not enough flex, man.
Yeah, but isn't it weird though? Like, so like I get it. There's paths to like getting a good team in this game, right? Like you can grind a ton, you could spend money, you could work the market and spend like 4 hours a day on the market. But there should be like the fourth option. It's like I'm elite at this game, right? But they removed that. And I get them wanting to like level the playing field, but like being elite at the game and like getting top 20 every week, shouldn't that be something? Shouldn't that stand for something? And it doesn't. They want to just like simplify it, and
they give
it's
you
like
packs, and that's all just random.
Yeah, like why would you do that? Don't you want to reward like top players like doing this? Like there's still the other options. You can still grind. Like you can still play rush. I don't get it at all.
Is very not reward like in MLB, man. Good players. The second that for anyone that doesn't play MLB, what'll happen is like there'll be like these mini seasons essentially, and the new ranked season would happen every like 5 to 6 weeks or 4 weeks, and you'd have guys rush out to get World Series, which is far harder than Division 1 in NHL. I think trying to get to World Series in MLB, it's very easy to get good at MLB. Like it's much harder to get to Division 2 in NHL than it is to get to Division 2 or whatever Championship Series in MLB, but it's way harder to go from Championship Series to Legend on MLB than it is to go from Division 2 to Division 1 in NHL. But in that, it's like the good players, they'll rush out because then they get the card that you get for hitting World Series, and everything is sellable in MLB. So that card, immediately you have content creators that are trying to like make the flashy debut with it that don't have the skill to like get that right away. You can make like 700,000 stubs just from being unbelievably great at the game. And there's a BR mode where you
and that's farm. The mode where the people like, dude, they just they farm it, right? They get who's the good player? Who's the what's his name again?
Mike
Trout, right? They get the Trout and they sell them. I don't know baseball.
Yeah, like you would get Trout at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and they sell a bunch of them. Like there's no path for that.
I think it's because the player base is big enough.
Value too.
I honestly think it's because the player base isn't big enough. Like, if we had 10 people on each console that dominated a Draft Champs mode, and the reward in Draft Champs was on par with MLB, where you're getting like, it'd be like like a 90 or an 88 and above card every time that you went 6-0 or whatever it is in NHL's draft champs. Like, there's only like if you had 10 people that did that, well, like there isn't enough people. Like you're matched up against Division 2 guys, right?
No,
Like,
and maybe it's solved. Maybe it's solved next year, right? Whenever more people are playing on the next gen consoles, and maybe the cross plays like a little bit better. I don't know.
I want to know if we'll ever get to a point in which the player base isn't. I'm wondering if it will never be fixed until it goes back to peer to peer.
I don't think this will ever be fixed for NHL in general because like I think it's an EA thing too that we're like talking about because like I know a lot of the Madden creators I follow have a lot of issues with MUT. Like they're professional players. They win all their games, but like it's very random, kind of like NHL, and like actually acquiring good cards, you have to. And I watched this Madden tournament, I think like last week. Mm-hmm. These people spend like way more money because you have to in Madden.
Madden is by far the most pay to win.
Thousands.
By far the most pay to win. Yep.
Yeah.
What's the next question?
We got the next one.
Actual question.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Kenny James asks, if all the cards have abilities, what is the negative to increasing ability points? More points means more customization, which awards skill and knowledge, and it's more fun all around. I will say the negative to that, right? If you could just activate every single ability, I think it becomes a little bit more pay to win because the better cards have more abilities. And then if you play a team that's full of team of the years for the women and the men's, that's 12 cards right off the bat, or like 11, I guess, that would have all abilities like activated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't think it requires more skill, and I think having less points requires more skill and knowledge just because you have to think about what to activate, right? Like
even on a God squad, like
dude, it would make it like NHL hits.
Hard time. Yeah.
You know, like
everyone would have Ensemble Force and Truculence.
Imagine if everybody had gold Truculence on a team.
And it'd be like you have to have that or you're at a massive disadvantage. And like I think that's the negative. On my God squad, I have a really hard time picking abilities. Like because it's like they figured it out, which is what I was kind of alluding to earlier. Like the content team's got their work cut out for them because there's 75% of the abilities are just pointless in comparison to the ones that have we've had X factors for 2 games now, so we've figured out the ones that are like it. And if they're going to remain in the game, then okay, they've got a pool of 7 to 10 that they can use, and the rest are just like, all right, well these are pointless, so it's like okay. So yeah, like I don't know. Well, if you went all of them, it would just every defenseman has truculence. Like you'd run with full 6, and then your offense would have Ensemble Force. That'd be why. But what would be great is if there was an event where you could go in and get extra rewards for playing, but there was no AP limit. That would be fun. Yeah. Because it would be chaotic, a mess, and you could have something else to do. But
what are you cracking up about there, Padre?
This kid's Getty images thing. I can't stop laughing.
Oh, dude.
Never mind. Just don't talk about it.
You gotta move on. Next question.
Next question here, Brad Osborne. Yeah. Do you stick to a handful of plays, offensive rushes, or played on a creative intuition? I think any good player has like 3 to 5 plays that they know that like complement each other, right? Like if you have a play in the slot, dude, I'm thinking about the.
Damn it, dude! Come on, let's get it together here.
All right, I think most players have like 3 to 5 plays, right?
Padre, how many plays do you actually have that you look for?
I do the behind the net play.
He has D to D.
I do the behind the net play that everyone else does. It just gets old. Like I really is boring. I miss my saucer pass. I miss I just miss like different plays like that. It's so fun. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
What did you do, man?
I don't know. My phone keeps blowing up in these pictures. Anyway, sorry. I'm just laughing. Anyways, sorry. All right, 3, 2, and 1. Back on the podcast. Yeah, I don't know. There's really no like creativity this year. Like, I'm jealous of Kesso because he knows how to do the Michigan, and I can't.
That's the best one.
Like, that's the best play to know, and I'm jealous that he knows how to do it, and he knows how to do the Zegras and Sonny Milano flip play. Like
that doesn't work.
But still, like it's something different. Like I'm just so
shots, bro.
Yeah,
you scored a banger L2 at the point. I lost
proud
my
of me,
mind.
Huh?
I was real proud.
Yeah, it was great. Like I don't know. That I guess feels good. Like doing my old saucer pass play. I miss that so much. I really
saucy,
did.
Dude. That was the only way I could score last year.
It was just a rewarding feeling goal. It's just now I don't know, man. There's just even watching the best players in the world. Like none of them.
It's all
are
the
doing
same 3 plays.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're right, man.
We need something.
I think Gren actually is somebody. Gren's run the same play on offense for like 5 years. He goes into the zone, he stops up high, he fires like a saucer pass, maybe two of them, and he does that, right? But I think after that, he's somebody that plays on a creative intuition because that was part of the question. And like, dude, he's the only one I think that could do that, right? Like, how many people have his thumb skill?
I'm saying that someone I'm really impressed with that like makes his up as he goes along is Aves. I just think that he falls apart when you don't
just
move.
L2s and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah. But if you fall into it, like if you like don't just stand there,
Dude,
it's very hard to just stand there. Like
it's
very
the old
difficult.
Indiana Jones defense, right? Like that one scene whenever the guy has the whip and or the swords and he's like throwing them, and then Indiana Jones just pulls out the gun and shoots him. Like that's what you
Yeah.
do. Like the gun's the rebound goal, and like you know, Aves is like doing all that stuff. Like there's no point.
You're right on that. All right, what's the next one?
All right, last question. It's a super serious question. How come you guys never drink coffee?
Because we record this at 10 at night because these two guys are dads.
Yeah, that's the reason.
I want to be in bed and I'm the one without kids.
Hey, we recorded a morning episode, and I don't know if any of us were even... I know, I don't drink coffee.
I did.
Oh,
If
you
it is
were?
before
Okay.
noon, I literally have a pot.
I don't drink coffee. I know that's crazy. I stay up till 1, 2 in the morning, and I wake up at 6 every
Coffee
day.
needs to be studied, boys.
It's nuts.
Listeners.
I don't like the taste of coffee. Smells good. I will say that. Like when I like walk past the Starbucks or
Coffee's an experience. It is a thing. Like
an acquired taste, right?
Well, like yes, until you've actually had good coffee, you probably won't like it. And if you actually want to try good coffee, please. Try
King's Coast.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
but that being said, like when you wake up in the morning, and you're dead tired, especially if you're Canadian or you live in a northern state. It's cold, and there's something to be having a nice warm cup of coffee. That's like probably like one of the best things about it. But man, I do not know how you play the big ones until 1 a.m. and get up at 5:30 and have no caffeine and somehow are the most energetic person I've ever met. Like I said, boys, he needs to be
there's something
studied.
wrong with him. Like there is. I think it's like ADHD or like
It's
there's something like in there that's like
there's something going on in there that Stewie's got that no one else has.
it's that serial killer gene. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
It is the serial killer.
It is like because there's some dudes, the serial killer, like they go to sleep at 2. Their bed's perfectly made. They wake up at 5.
Who makes the bed? Is your bed always made?
My wife. I don't do any of that stuff.
Okay, dude. Want to know the craziest Padre fact? Or tidbit? The thing that has always weirded me out the most was when I met you in Toronto and you played this huge tournament against Gren and you had your headphones in and you listened to podcasts. There was no music. There was nothing. You're like, yeah, man, whenever I play the big ones, all I do is listen to podcasts.
Only at home I do that. When I played Gren at the
That's so
LAN,
weird. How do you do that?
When I played Gren at the LAN, he thought I was nuts because I had nothing in my ears, and I'm like, I don't know. I just like I play better when I'm in Discord with people too. Like when I won my series this weekend, I was in Discord, and then when I wasn't in Discord, I was by myself. I was like, all right, like I need to get in Discord with somebody. I like to bitch about the game to somebody.
Oh, dude, man, like I don't know. I need like some. I don't know. Yeah. I like game sound, which is weird. I feel like that.
I haven't had game sound in 5-6 years.
There's times when I play offline, like not on stream and stuff, and I don't have to listen to music because I'm not streaming, and I'll just plug the microphone into my controller and like listen to the game. I don't know because I never get to listen to it. I don't know. It's odd.
Good old Sabalski,
dude. Dude. I used to try and listen to YouTube videos, and like I'll listen to YouTube videos, but when I'm playing the big ones and I'm playing Rivals or Champs, I cannot do it. Like I'm like I need music. I need something. I need not this.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. It's wow. Cookie's another one. Top Shelf Cookie won the GWC in 2019. And so I love Cooks. He never, again, it's kind of like you, but he never has anything in when he's playing the big ones. And the tournament was sponsored by Astros, so they had to wear Astros on stage. So like if you see like Eki and John Lane, they're all listening to the like music and whatnot, but they had to use Astro headphones. They couldn't use earpods or anything like that. And if you watch in the finals, Cookie's got the headset off on his shoulders because he forgot, and they just kind of like as the games went along, he just like took it off his head and he wasn't listening to anything. I don't know how you can listen to the outside stuff. And this year, or the year that just passed, they made all the competitors have to not have anything on, and it was this weird thing. So before we go, they did it. The production company did it because they wanted to try and get more emotion out of the competitors. And I'll say, as someone who cast the event, I've seen like 50 people compete in the Gaming World Championship, and like there is never very little emotion. Like Josh Fearless is one and one of the only ones, and everyone else is very reserved, even when they win or score. But they try to make it where they wore no headsets, and I get it was pretty tough for the competitors. But I mean, like, get over it. It was kind of cool because they had to listen to they actually have to listen to it, and you got to see a little bit more emotion. I thought so. That was something random, but I don't know, Padre or Kessler, could you do that?
Dude, like, so whenever you come into my stream, you always see like,
Dude,
dude,
the
I
ASMR, bro. I don't know.
dude, I can't listen to anything. I remember I try to play games. Padre's always like, oh, you want a Discord or something? Like, if I'm playing a game, dude, I can't listen to anything. Like, I just have to have the game sound, and that's it.
I'm a big Discord guy.
Dude, I don't know how you
love
do it.
Discord.
I love Discord. It gets me through my day with hanging out with you guys and stuff, like while I'm at work or whatever. It just makes
No,
the
but
day
even
go
like
by
during the games, like, I
quicker.
don't know, I can't
Oh, during the
concentrate on
game,
like
yeah.
two things at once
Yeah.
like that.
I'm just a
Yeah.
big Discord guy. I love Discord. It makes my day go by so much faster. Same with like podcasts. I don't know what I would do. No podcast in
Same.
Discord.
I'm a big podcast.
I would die. Like I listen to 32 Thoughts every day, and yeah.
Friend of the show, Jeff Merrick.
What did you say?
Padre,
Six,
you're not a music person, are you?
No, not like when people.
That's
it's
another
funny.
serial killer
That was
attribute.
the one.
No,
That was
no,
the
no.
one.
I like music. It's just I don't like. It's just like here and there. You know what I mean? I listen to music in the car or something, but like not really like when I play video games. It doesn't like get me going or something.
You're
like
not
Larson.
and you're not like a gym guy. You just play hockey.
Yeah, like Larson
You're
is
never
like
listening to
a
it.
few of those guys are like, dude, you actually have a really good playlist. I'm like, yeah, it's just songs like we grew up listening to, and then like whatever, and you know some modern stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of like whatever. I like all of it, but it's nothing.
Studied. We need to get a good.
I'm getting my blood work done soon, so we'll find out how
Dude, the
messed up I
caffeine
am.
thing blows me away. Like, if you're in chat, I want to know how many of you out there can operate with no caffeine. Maybe we're the weird ones. Definitely.
No,
not,
it's
but,
everybody.
it's definitely.
Anybody that's ever had a job, they go into the office, they know that there's the
Yeah.
coffee machine.
But it would make way more sense if he was just like a dick or had no energy.
Oh, and I have plenty of options
He
of
is the
drinking
most
coffee.
energetic person I've met.
I have so many options of energy drinks and coffee I could choose from, and I don't pick anything.
That's wild. All right, well, this was another banger episode that went off the rails, but hey, we got it back on track. Make sure you guys leave the questions in the YouTube video, and we'll pick a few next week and go over them. Those were pretty fun. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.